Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the discourses on problem solving. Discourse is not a typical training program where the consultant starts and ends in 8 hours. Discourse is quite another approach. Discourse is an online research. Discourse is like a extempore research. Please enable this art to prosper, this science to prosper by maturing the senses of listening. Please. That is in the larger benefit of the things. That's how a communication could evolve to different standards, for different levels of performance, for a different purpose. Thanks for being here. We talked about a box in a box, space in a space, and we looked at space outside the space. The other one is exclusive, mutually exclusive, and this is inclusive. Therefore, by virtue of that geometry, what we are going to have is that this inside space, the heart, the mind, the soul, the inside space, the heart and the mind and the soul is going to be much more integrative. It's much more integrative. It's going to in fact influence us quite a lot. Therefore, I would add a factor of being affective. It is affective. There is a lot of affectation by virtue of what we carry in our soul, heart and mind. Okay, there is a lot of affectation. Okay, it might be a new word for many. It is affectation, being affected by somebody. So it is also going to directly affect your perception, because at a later stage you tend to see a certain problem from that perspective only. Let me not go much further than this. If somebody steals or tries to steal your bag, tries to flick your purse, you might wonder, I got that extra amount in my bag today and this man is starving for days. God, what have you made this world as? God, why there are so many imbalances? And then you sent me to perform here, so did I perform on this account of making everybody happy? Making all the little children fed, well fed. In India we have it, we pour milk, tons of milk on gods and goddesses, tons of oil and gods and goddesses. There are little ones who are left hungry. We have it. We see this on and off, on and on, on and off. So this man has a prevailing mindset that he is responsible for that act of a stranger who's trying to pick his bag. Does this happen to you? Does this happen to you? You're standing in a queue to buy a ticket and somebody comes and stands exactly in front of you. He's not gone to anyone. He came with the feel, there's a brethren here, he will help me. Do you go through such kind of feelings? And you're very nervous. You're very nervous about ordering a cup of tea when you stand in front on a railway platform. You're very nervous eating any kind of stuff in front of anyone. You're nervous about the kind of bag and baggage that you're carrying, the kind of branded shirt you're wearing. You're all nervous about that. Does it happen to you? If it does, then You want to live with soul and heart and mind more often than you live with material, luxuries, joy, entertainment, food, frolic, dance, parties. That's a kind of a thinking style which has now come into your lifestyle. It is originally a thinking style which has now come to your lifestyle. Why do I need to buy clothes? Why do I need to buy clothes? So many. COVID is in the 19th month. There are people who would think, I don't know what's going to happen to me, so I better not buy clothes. Let's not invest in clothes. There are others who would feel, I have nothing else to do, so let me at least buy clothes and wear it in front of family members, flaunt those colors in front of family members. Why not? Both are right, but they're driven by different kinds of rightness, different kind of being right, different motive of being right. So, should we not thank this universe of discussion that we are now already at the point of discussing what a beautiful word it is, the point of discussing leitmotiv, Leitmotiv, leitmotiv. So happy and so grateful and thankful to all of you. You allowed me to bring in leitmotiv. Is that going to dictate the kind of problems that you will have? You give a shelter to a stranger in the middle of the night, and next day morning you find something important missing. Now you don't know whether he's taken it or not. God forgive me, I can't accuse him without knowing what it is. But he was the only one who came to your house, and you're going circle, inside a circle. Why do I do that? And there's another circle which is unwinding. I should do that, isn't it? Oh, why did I do that? I should do that, isn't it? That's a dilemma. That's a noble dilemma, isn't it? Okay, although nobility actually will come a little later once you sort out this dilemma. In psychology, there is a beautiful term called cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance. You have a certain cognition, you have a certain idea. This is right. But when it comes to that, somehow for a second, okay, you want the world to close their eyes and do what you want to do. You have your own theories and morals and principles to reprimand you. You are willing to bear that cost. But that do, you could not avert. There is no aversion possible with respect to that do which you are committed not to get into. And don't feel guilty at all. Please don't feel guilty. Everyone goes through this. Everyone goes through this. For something or the other, there is a longing. There is something that makes us, that creates in us an extra feeling of deprivation. And when there is a freedom of expression, freedom of action, you want to do that. So, the mind rules, the heart rules, the soul rules. Why won't you go on distributing your wealth to people? Worrying little that you have no provision for the prospective disease, maybe obesity, maybe blood pressure. You have no provision left. So you find a recluse, another piece of spirituality who says the problems are his, the solutions are going to be his. I have nobody to do that. What I see in front of me might be a facade, only the reality will know. What I am seeing might be just a facade in front of me. The reality, only the reality will know. Can you imagine the number of issues that you will be confounded with on a daily basis? Because there is an affectation by the heart and soul and the mind. And it doesn't stop there. It becomes a perception. It rules a perception, I'm sorry. That would be technically more right to say. It rules the perception. Well, you just said it, isn't it? Dear you said facade and now you're talking about perception. Aren't you with me? Well, me a minute back and me now probably are saying the same thing. Although I don't want to declare how I think. I would still like to talk about first person, non-singular. Or maybe sometimes the second person, definitely not singular. That facade and here perception are equal in terms of qualitative spirit of living. That facade, this perception is equal. On the other side, when there are two spheres, two spaces, mutually exclusive, tea and coffee. You don't want to have tea and coffee together. Tea and biscuit, no, they are not mutually exclusive. They could be mutually inclusive. Here it is exclusive. There, the perceptual disorders are going to be much lesser. The affectation is going to be much lesser. The outside influences are not going to be so many unless you allow them to influence, just as in the earlier case the inside space was influencing you. Does it click somewhere a strategy for you? Does it click a strategy for you? I'm sure some of us, some of the listeners are already getting into a plot. Oh, my. Isn't it therefore what he said, these two spaces and the comparative, the other two spaces, does it not lead me to a very private strategy, a very proprietary solution for my problems, which say ... I don't want to hurt the dramatics by spelling it out. So. Don't I get that solution? The majestic solution, the masterly approach to solving the problem. Now that he's talked about those two spheres, one inside the other two spheres, mutually exclusive, don't I get? Don't jump to conclusions. For you might get away with one problem, but the new problem is awaiting. Therefore, We again come to understanding, making again a simplified understanding. Simple to say, difficult to accept. The simplified understanding that problems are remarkably the quality of life you're living. Remarkably, it is the picture of the quality of life you're living, or representation of the quality of life you're living. And the solutions is remarkably your dash, your jump into a better quality. They are the stepping stones. So may I sign off as far as this episode is concerned with the message. Come to problem solving. Come to life.